Hello, it's me, and we are here for our special bumper episode. I believe this is the third time we've done this now. And in this episode, we will have Dynamite, which we're at right now, followed by Battle of the Belts, and then Collision. So yeah, strap in, guys. Hopefully, it's going to be a much better ride than it was last week. Because last week, as you can see here, 77 at Dynamite, and I think it was a 71 at Collision. Yeah, that makes me feel ill because I don't think we've had a show that bad in a very long time. So the World Light Heavyweight Championship that I've created is going to pay off. We just need to wade through those poor earlier rounds to get to some stellar matches. But speaking of the World Light Heavyweight Championship, the next round, I'll get my words out, the next round begins tonight at Dynamite, followed by some next round matches at Collision 2 in their respective brackets. But before we dive into any of that, we've got some backstage incidents. Oh, Hangman Adam Page, our current World Heavyweight Champion, what is he saying? He helped create a great atmosphere where he pulled a great rib on the entire locker room and everyone laughed. Hey! He has the lively personality and is currently happy. I'm glad you're happy, Adam Page. I'm glad you made everyone else laugh. And Mark Davis, what is going on with you, my boy? He brought pizza for the whole locker room. Oh, what a lad. What a lad. That's the kind of guy I want in my locker room. But that is the backstage instance done. We are in... I can just look. Why am I trying to find it? We are in New England because we haven't been here for a while. I think it's like 35 days we haven't been here. So here we are. We are at the Agganis Arena. I haven't done this for a while because I don't really think you guys care too much about where we are. But either way, let's get straight into our Dynamite show, the one just before Battle of the Belts. Okay, and here we are in the pre-show, and you're probably thinking, Ted, what the hell is Ospreay and Lance Archer doing in the pre-show? And it's mostly because my main show matches, they didn't have those specific angles. You know, you need like 3 matches with certain aims, and I was just creating random pre-show matches to kind of fulfill those aims. And I saw that Ospreay was here, and I was like, fuck it, we don't have him every week. Let's use him. So Ospreay and Archer have teamed up, and what I think is great here, look at this. Ospreay and Archer have excellent chemistry together. Yes, that's what I wanted. That's why I teamed them up. Oh yeah. 71 overall, great. Good for the Von Erichs to be in a match like this. Decent match. Ospreay and Archer defeat the Von Erichs. Ospreay with an 85, Archer with a 73, which is also good. And yeah, the Von Erichs are the Von Erichs. But yeah, decent opening match. It's not going to count towards the final score, but it's a thing. Our next match is Deonna Purrazzo and Kairi. I put these two in a technical masterclass match because both of them have got really good technical stats. And in a decent match, Kairi gets the win over Deonna Purrazzo in 15 minutes with the insane elbow. 62 rating overall. Deonna with a 60, Kairi with a 64, and she was off her game with a 64. That is, that's scary, that is. Because obviously most of our women, when they get 60s, we praise them, but she was off her game and got a 60. Wow. And then our final pre-show match is Adam Cole. He's not in Ring of Honor yet, but he might be. Defeats Mark Davis, who brought pizza for everyone. Poor Mark Davis. In 10 minutes with the boom, that got a 63. Cole with a 65. That's one of the higher numbers that he's got. I think the highest he's ever got is 70. Yeah. Madness. And Mark Davis with a 59, and he's in amazing form. Go on, Mark Davis. But that is the end of the pre-show, and we are heading into the main show. And who else is going to open up Dynamite a few nights before they try and get their world title back? It's MJF. MJF comes out, calls out Adam Page, chats shit about Adam Page for a bit, but then he gets quite serious for a moment and basically confesses that MJF says, I don't see the point in MJF being in AEW if he's not the World Heavyweight Champion. Like, I've had the taste of the gold. I've been the champion for a long time, and I just don't see the value or point in professional wrestling unless the belt is around my waist. So I don't know what he's alluding to there, but it seems like he's really struggling without that belt. So is Hangman Page going to be the villain in MJF's story and prevent him from getting the belt back? We will have to see. Hopefully, well, actually, no, thankfully, we don't have to wait that long because it will be happening in our next show. But yeah, great promo from MJF and Hangman Page. Really building up their main event for Battle of the Belts. It should be a good one. Let's see if they can outdo their all-out match, which I think was an 85? No, 80 something. I'll have a look before Battle of the Belts so we can compare. But yeah, 92, awesome opening segment. And what follows this is our next round match. So this is the quarterfinal of the Dynamite bracket. It's Orange Cassidy taking on his best friend, or one of his best friends, Trent Beretta. Oh, and in a bout that had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd, Trent Beretta gets the win over Orange Cassidy in 12:28 with a tornado DDT. Trent Beretta is through to the semi-finals. Wow. And he will face either Chris Bay or Daniel Garcia, who are in action later on tonight. So our first semi-final for the Dynamite bracket will be confirmed this evening. Trent getting a big win over Orange Cassidy. They do shake hands post-match, and Orange Cassidy, who's normally more casual of the two, pulls in Trent for a hug because I think Trent's feeling a little bit, I don't know, he's feeling a bit of tension lately. He seems to have a different character about him. But yeah, 69 rated performance, Trent with the 62, Orange with a 74. They got great chemistry facing each other, which is cool. They also, I think they have great chemistry teaming with each other as well, so they really are best friends. And of course, Ron Killings was there again. He's like an appendage. He's like stuck to Orange Cassidy. Yeah, he's through semi-finals. Congratulations, Trent. Following this, we've got some simple tag team action. Miro and Coughlin teaming up, taking on the Butcher and the Blade. In a decent match, Miro and Coughlin get the win. 7 minutes when the Blade taps. Miro with a 79. Nice. Miro's getting better and better every week, and I'm loving that. And Coughlin 46, the Blade 60, Butcher 44. Fair enough. Yeah, Miro came out looking good. That's exactly what we want, because post-match, he grabs the mic and says, "Juice was big, but I want bigger. I want a big, big guy to face me at Battle of the Belts." And the Bullet Club Gold music hits, because I'm assuming in this world they all have their same entrance music. And it's Keith Lee. I mean, you wanted a bigger guy. It doesn't get bigger than Keith Lee, let's be honest. And he steps up. So this is official. It is Miro defending his TNT title against Bullet Club Gold's Keith Lee at Battle of the Belts. And they've only got a few days until that show. Should be tasty. This will be a great match in real life. And I'm looking forward to booking it. Following this, though, we've got our next 76. Nice. We've got our next round of the Light Heavyweight Championship bracket. And it is Daniel Garcia defeating Chris Bay in 23 minutes. Daniel Garcia is putting those minutes in with the sharpshooter. Daniel Garcia with an 84. My goodness. This guy is the next big thing. He's put in so many good matches when he really shouldn't. He shouldn't yet, I say. And Chris Bay as well doing well. He only got 58, but still pulling a 76 out is really, really good for both of them. Especially because they're slightly different people. You know, Garcia is very technical. Chris Bay is a high-flying crazy boy. Yeah, unfortunate for Chris Bay. His journey ends here, but Daniel Garcia progresses to the semi-final and will face Trent Beretta in our semi-final of the Dynamite bracket. Oh, it's getting exciting. 76 though, nice one. After this, we have got a backstage segment with Dasha. She just goes, Chris, Battle of the Belts, it's in 2 days' time. Have you got yourself a third member? And Chris has just stood there and he's like, Dasha, leave me alone. I need to find someone. No, I haven't found anyone yet. No one wants to team up with us. These stupid Wheeler Yuta and the Combat Club. Just let me try and find someone. And off he goes. Still no third member to team up with him and Hager to face the Combat Club. I'm sure they'll find someone, but time is running out. They have got 2 nights left. Well, it's the night of Battle of the Belts where they need to find a member. So the clock is ticking, Chris. Unfortunately, Paige VanZant can't compete because she is in a world title match against Hikaru Shida, which should be a very interesting affair. Following this, we've just got some straightforward women's action. Samantha DeMartin getting a win against Trish Adora with the big boot. 58, not the best. Samantha DeMartin with a 49. Trish with a 53. So Trish is an interesting one. In the past, I'd say 2 months, she's asked for 2 pay rises. And because her pay rises have only been like $100 a month or something, or a week, I've just been like, yeah, sure, whatever. But I've noticed it, and I'm like, why is that happening? I've gone to look at her like stats, and her like in-ring wrestling stats, they've all gone up a few numbers in the last couple of months, but her popularity has gone from like 11 in the US to like 35, 40. So she's doing something right. So I might have to start I keep saying this every year. I need to start rethinking the women's division and really like figure out who's worth pushing, who's not. And also, as you saw in the spoiler, I think 2 episodes ago, Chelsea Green has signed, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed. There should be another ex-WWE female wrestler coming in, and it's a big one. But you're going to have to watch this space and wait for that. But 58 rated match, cool, nice one. Not great, but it will do for now. Following this, Orange Cassidy is obviously coming off of his loss in the tournament. Ron Killings is in high spirits, and he's like, don't worry, Orange Juice, I got a surprise for you. And Orange Cassidy's like, what? And Renee comes over and goes, there you guys are. Ron now? And Ron's like, yeah. And she's like, okay, I can confirm, Orange Cassidy, that you and Ron Killings will be facing the Lucha Brothers at Battle of the Belts after your win last week. And Orange Cassidy is like, what? Like, he just looks at Ron Killings, and obviously Ron is like, tag team champions, me and Orange Juice, yeah. So that is also official for Battle of the Belts. The Lucha Brothers taking on Orange Cassidy and Ron Killings. And I know who who I think my favourites are for that gonna be. Following this segment, we do actually have some tag team action, and it is FTR getting a nice solid win against the Guns, who recently reunited with their dad, Billy Gunn, which is always nice to see. So all 3 of the Guns on the losing side against FTR. And look at how far we've come. These were our tag champions and contenders in our first pay-per-view. Was it pay-per-view or Battle of the Belts or something? And look at them now, just in random tag matches with no real story. That's unfair. FTR are great, but I just got nothing for them at the moment. Following this though, Jay White's backstage. He's back from his excursion in Japan, his one-night excursion, and he saw that CM Punk took care of Bullet Club in his week off, and says that, he thanks him for it. And he said he hopes that this loyalty remains, and that CM Punk has both Jay White's back and Bullet Club Gold's. And Punk is just like, yep. Like, you can't tell whether Punk is like genuinely kind of getting into being a Bullet Club Gold member, or whether he's just biding his time until something else happens. But for now, on the surface level, Punk is very much Bullet Club Gold through and through. So nice to see it all working out, I guess. 93 rated segment, love that. Jay White is golden, CM Punk maybe a little bit more golden, Keith Lee's grey, and Juice and Chris Bay are there. This does take us to our main event tonight, which is a surprise match. I'm hoping it does better than the Shinsuke Takeshita match, because I've got another doozy up my sleeve that I'm about to whip out for you all. And it is the debut of Drew Galloway. Yes, Drew Galloway is all elite, and his first match of his entire AEW career is against another former WWE star, Rami Sabai. Let's keep all our fingers crossed and hope it's not shit. 81, I'll take it. Woo! So in a superb match, Drew Galloway gets the win against Rami Sabai in 24 minutes with the Claymore kick. And it is an 83 rated performance from Drew Galloway, 75 from Rami, which is also very good. That boy was sitting around the 50s, 60s, and just randomly he pops out a 75. They've got good chemistry as well. Oh, love that. And he's getting better at his gimmick. He's only been here 5 minutes and he's getting better at his gimmick. Oh, Drew Galloway. I'm rubbing my thighs right now. 81 rated match. Decent. Yeah, Drew Galloway is here. He's on Dynamite. Yeah. And that's another loss for Rami. That's back-to-back losses or just back-to-back losses? Either way, it's more losses than Rami wants or really deserves. But this is how we end our show. But we do have a post-show Twitter segment like we always do. And it's Rami, kind of a little bit deflated after the loss. You know, obviously Drew Galloway, it's happening again. Drew Galloway, a great competitor, but he still hasn't fully recovered from the Carl Fletcher loss. And, you know, kind of struggling to fit in with AEW. He's just said that he doesn't know why he's losing, or he knows why he's losing. You know, there's a lot of factors that he needs to consider. And then suddenly he's like, I'm going to go get some help from an old friend. Who that friend is, we don't know, but I'm sure when we next see Rami, he'll have a new lease of life. He'll have something new about him, but you're just gonna have to wait and see what that is. 80 rated. I should have put that on the main show, but let's finish the show and see how we did. 81. Hey, we're back to the 80s. Last week never happened. It was a blip. Yeah, great show. Really good matches. Surprised by this one being so good. MJF, great there. I mean, that also with White and Punk is great. Bunch of matches announced for Battle of the Belts. Yeah, I think all the matches have been announced. I'm just looking at the card here. So, yeah, so before we get into Battle of the Belts, which you'll see in like 30 seconds, I'll run through the official match card just so that you guys can see it. I'll also drop it in the description down below just so that you guys can see it ahead of time and leave your predictions, etc. But yeah, the next time you hear my voice, it will be at Battle of the Belts. And we are here, Battle of the Belts. I'm going to try my best not to waste too much time because these episodes can run on for a long time, especially when we've got 3 shows, one of them being an event. And I think this is our biggest Battle of the Belts yet. I believe every title that we have is on the line tonight. So, yeah. And the next Battle of Belts in the future, there'll be another belt on the line. So, we're doing pretty good. Let me just quickly run through the card. So, this is in order of appearance. We've got the Lucha Brothers defending their World Tag Team titles against Orange Cassidy and Ron Killings. We've got Nyla Rose defending her TBS title against Toni Storm. We've got the Combat Club defending their trios titles if Chris Jericho can find a third man. We have got Hikaru Shida defending her World Women's title against Paige VanZant. Jay White is defending his international title against a to-be-confirmed opponent, which I can confirm now is Roderick Strong. Will Ospreay is here. He made it. And he is defending his FTW World title against Christian Cage one-on-one. No outside interference. We then have Miro defending his TNT title against Keith Lee from Bullet Club Gold. And then our main event is Hangman Adam Page defending his World Heavyweight Championship against the man he took it from, MJF. And I'm hoping that will be a good one. Okay, that's the card. Leave your predictions down below. It's also in the description. So, yeah, we've got the opening pre-show just saying, welcome to Battle of Belt 7. This is just our kind of side gang, not the commentators for the event. Just here to chat shit and banter off each other. But we don't care what they're saying. Let's head straight into the opening match, all of which are on the main card. I just squeezed them in. 74, a decent start, especially with Ron Killings involved. But in a good match, the Lucha Brothers defeat Cassidy and Killings in 14:51 when Rey Fenix pins Orange Cassidy with the assisted Fear Factor, and this is defense number 3 of their AEW World Tag Team Championships. The Lucha Brothers just feel unstoppable, to be honest. Rey Fenix was head and shoulders above everyone else with a 93. Ooh. And Pentagon with an 81, which is pretty good. Cassidy with a 66. And Ron Killings with a 47. The less said about that, the better. But 74 overall, pretty good. And it got the show off to a strong start. Remember, they have won, obviously. So we've got our main event of Collision after this, where we will find out a new number one contender for the Lucha Brothers. Let's continue with our show, where we've got Nyla Rose taking on Toni Storm. And in a decent match, Toni Storm gets the win. She defeats Nyla Rose with a strong 0. During the match, Ruby Soho did her part and she distracted Nyla. So the beast that is Nyla Rose has lost, and Toni Storm is our new AEW TBS champion. Both sharing a performance of 57 with a 59 overall rating. I'll take it. But Toni Storm I don't really think they're outcasts anymore. The former outcasts, Storm and Soho, work together, and Toni Storm is our TBS Women's Champion. Sorry, Nyla, but the numbers game got the better of you. After this, though, we have got the trios match, the Combat Club versus Jericho, Hager, and someone else, if Chris Jericho can find a partner. And Jericho comes out. I mean, you can already see the spoiler here. Jericho comes out and says, I failed. No one wants to tag with me. Like, why? I don't understand. Like, it's a chance at a belt. So I'm really sorry, Moxley, Claudio, Wheeler. There's no match tonight. Don't worry about it. And then just as Jericho turns to walk back out, Eddie Kingston's music hits. He comes out and he's like, no. We are not having this. Jericho, I'll be your partner. So it's official. It's Chris Jericho, Jake Hager, and Eddie Kingston taking on the Combat Club for their AEW World Trios title. Now let's see how that goes down. 72, not bad. I'll take it. In a good match, the Combat Club, of course they do. They defeat Jericho, Hager, and Kingston when Wheeler Yuta makes Chris Jericho tap again. Oh, Chris Jericho getting embarrassed, according to him, again by Wheeler Yuta. So that is defense number 1 of their World Trios title. Let's look at the performances. Yuta with a 65, Claudio 66, Moxley with an 86, Eddie Kingston 68, Jake Hager 55, and Jericho 58. Wow, Moxley stood out massively. Just want to point out, during this match, Moxley and Kingston didn't touch each other once. Every time Kingston was in the ring, Moxley wasn't. And when Moxley was in the ring, Kingston would tap himself in, and Moxley would just smirk and tag himself out. So there's definite heat building between these two, and it came to boil after the match because Kingston and Moxley got into it. They clashed heads, and they just started brawling like anything, spilling over into the crowd, using chairs, using drinks from the crowd, throwing them on each other, just really beating each other down. And the Combat Club obviously trying to catch up with them to break them apart, but they just brawl all the way out of the arena and out of sight. And Jericho and Hager are kind of just on the ramp like, maybe we shouldn't get involved in this, and they just leave because they've now got to quickly prep and hype up Paige VanZant for her match, because that is coming up next. Hikaru Shida defending her title against the undefeated, since the brand split, Paige VanZant. And in a decent match, it's Hikaru Shida who gets the win. She makes Paige VanZant tap with the full metal muffler. This is defense number 3 of her women's title, and Paige VanZant has been well and truly humbled off the back of countless wins and really dominating performances. She steps up to the big leagues, you could call it, and she fails. Hikaru Shida is still our AEW Women's World Champion. 62 rated match, not bad. Shida with a 67, Paige VanZant with a 43. But yeah, as the storyline says, who can beat Shida? She seems to be a force of nature right now. And yeah, a great champion. Unfortunately, Paige VanZant could not do the job. I was really pushing for that, but I feel like she has reached her limit of performance, which is sad. But Anyways, our next match is the international title match. Jay White against Roderick Strong. And if you remember, Jay White spoke to CM Punk and said, hey, you seem to have fitted quite well in Bullet Club Gold. Let's hope that continues. And I hope you've got my back, because I've got yours, Punk. Yeah, whether Punk is to be trusted or not, we don't know. But let's see how this match goes. 82. Oh, see, Roderick Strong over time, getting better. So in a bout that had great wrestling and good heat, Jay White defeats Roderick Strong with the Blade Runner. And during the match, CM Punk ran in and attacked Roderick Strong. He's got Jay White's back, apparently. That is defense number 4 of the AEW International title. And Jay White with an 87. And this got the crowd buzzing as well. Of course it did, an 82 rated match. Wow. Love that. And post-match, CM Punk comes into the ring, big grin on his face. You know, Jay White is like, come here, my boy. They hug. They do the Bang Bang Club symbol, you know, where they kind of hit their hands together with the gun symbol. Jay White gives him a big old hug and a little kiss on the forehead. CM Punk, in my eyes, seems like he is a Bullet Club Gold member through and through. He's realised, you know, it's you know, it's a little bit greener on the other side, or should I say a little bit more gold on the other side. Yeah, wow. Who's going to stop Bullet Club Gold when they've got Jay White and CM Punk at the top of it? I don't know. But that's, you know, we're making up stuff now. Let's head back to the ring where Will Ospreay is here and he is defending his title against Christian Cage. One last match Christian Cage gets for the FTW World title until he can no longer have a match against Will Ospreay for the belt. Let's see how it goes down. 77, and about that had great wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Will Ospreay gets the win in 9 minutes, pretty convincingly, with the Stormbreaker. And this is defense number 2 of Will Ospreay's world title, both defenses against Christian Cage. Will Ospreay with an 82, Cage with a 65, and Christian Cage admits defeat. He can no longer challenge for the FTW World title so long as Will Ospreay is the champion. He does still reserve ownership rights to the belt, but as per the contract signed and the agreement with AEW, he is not their champion. He is just the owner of the belt. Will Ospreay celebrates, you know, kind of very cockily, heads back up the ramp. Archer and Jake Roberts greet him. They celebrate together, and Christian Cage is kind of left there to just sit in his own sadness. Bless him. While he sits there in his own sadness, we've got a backstage interview, and it's Renee just wanting to see how MJF is doing, and MJF just doesn't say a lot. It's a 72 segment of MJF. What's that about? But I think it's a 1 minute segment, so that's probably why I got a poor rating. MJF just says, "This is my last chance, Renee," and he just walks off. So maybe that's his hot catchphrase, last chance. It's not, but yeah. So yeah, MJF very serious about the match tonight. He wants that belt back, because other than being world champion, he doesn't see a reason to wrestle, which is, you know, a little bit sad. Moving on though, we stay backstage where Britt Baker and Hikaru Shida are celebrating together, and they just say, you know, Paige VanZant, you're a great athlete. You've been winning back-to-back matches, but you haven't been facing any real competition. And the second competition steps up in the form of Hikaru Shida, you fail. Maybe you're just a little bit too green for the big time. You know, stick in your lower card matches. Stick in the pre-show, babes. You know, leave the main event to us. No one's gonna stop Shida. And then Britt Baker says the key line, "Who can beat Shida?" When suddenly there's a little, I don't know how that comes out on the mic, I'm sorry if it's loud, a little tap on the shoulder of Britt Baker. She turns around and it's AJ Mendez, formerly known as AJ Lee. And she says, "Hey, I overheard you saying who can beat Shida, and I can beat Shida, and I'm going to do that next week on Dynamite. And that belt of yours, that's mine." And then she just skips off very menacingly. So AJ Mendez is here in AEW. She is out of retirement, and she has set the challenge. It's been confirmed. There's a graphic on the screen now. AJ Mendez facing Hikaru Shida for the AEW Women's World Championship. Dynamite next week. I mean, if anyone can do it, AJ Mendez might. And let's continue with the show, which is, we're just going to change this to her new gimmick of Devilish. And there we go. Following this, though, is it going to let us go? Is our big boy match. So in a bout that had great wrestling and good heat, Miro defeats Keith Lee in 8 minutes with the game over, and that's defense number 2 of Miro's TNT title reign. 75 rated match. Miro with a 79, Lee with a 74. Lack of psychology. I mean, it's an 8-minute match. You don't need psychology for that. But either way, they've got great chemistry together. Ooh, we love it when some big boys get on. And obviously CJ Perry adds the boost there. What was the negatives then? Is it just psychology? Odd heel face combination, cool. Holding back? Miro, why were you holding back? And then lack of psychology. Fair enough. Some people just don't have psychology, I guess. But yeah, Miro wins against a big boy. Exactly what he wanted. He loves a big boy, Miro. Or it's more he hates the little guys, but he loves a big boy. And that is our penultimate match, because next up is, and I'm going to milk this, is our AEW World Heavyweight Championship. Hangman Adam Page dethroned MJF at our best show of the year, AEW All Out, and MJF since then has been obsessed with getting his belt back. He misses his Lil Triple B, and he said himself he doesn't see any value, any point in being a professional wrestler unless he is world champion. So this is very much a make or break match for a Maxwell Jacob Friedman. The only thing standing in his way is Hangman Adam Page, who, let's be honest, has been on fire in the past few months. Let's go straight into it. 90. Oh my god, a 90. In an exceptional match, Hangman Adam Page defeats MJF in 21 minutes and 49 seconds with the buckshot lariat. Adam Page makes defense number 2 of his AEW World Heavyweight Championship, and this means that Maxwell Jacob Friedman has lost. And I can confirm that he's not getting another rematch. Nigel made it very clear. You get your rematch at Battle of the Belts, and then it's time to move on, my boy. And move on, he has to find a way to move on. And I don't know how MJF is going to feel about this, but right now in the ring, Hangman Adam Page is celebrating with his title, and MJF is just sat in the corner beside himself. He's just looking at the ground, very much like Christian earlier, just sat in his sadness. And yeah, it's a sad sight to see. He is a broken human right now, and I don't know what's going to happen with MJF. I really don't. But what a way to kind of go out. A 90 rated match, our joint highest rated match of the entire series. Both include MJF, and a 97 performance. He gave everything in this match, but it wasn't enough. Hangman Adam Page is riding that wave that he has created for himself, and he continues as our world champion. The celebrations continue. MJF rolls out the ring and just walks up the ramp. He doesn't look up. He doesn't acknowledge any of the fans, which is very un-MJF like, and he just heads straight out back, and Hangman is left in the ring to just bathe in the glory that is his championship win. A 90 from Page as well. Can't take anything away from him. Yeah, wow. But that's not all, because unfortunately there are some rumblings through the crowd, and suddenly Adam Page, I had to pause for a second there, so I'm getting ahead of myself. Hangman Adam Page is taken out by 3 individuals. He is stomped to the ground. They're all hooded. He gets thrown out of the ring. He gets put through a table. He is being decimated. The hoods and the masks come off to reveal 2 more masks and a goblin looking man. No offense. Pac and Rey Fenix and Pentagon Jr., the Death Triangle, are here, and they attack Hangman Adam Page, and Pac stands over Hangman Adam Page's lifeless body as Rey Fenix passes the World Heavyweight Championship to Pac, who lifts it above his head and smiles. It looks like Pac is the man who wants to take on Hangman Adam Page next, and what a match that will be, especially with Rey Fenix and Pentagon Jr. by your side, because they are at the moment, I would say, the most dangerous tag team in AEW, and they could be led very much well by a man that has the potential to be the most dangerous man in AEW. And right now he looks the part. Adam Page is on the floor, lifeless, no Bandito in sight to help either, and that is how we close Battle of the Belts, with Hangman Adam Page winning, but closing the show with Pac holding the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. Let's see how we did. 85, joint highest rated show as well. Get in. Yeah, great show. I don't think there was much build to this aside from maybe the Hangman and MJF match and the Will Ospreay Christian Cage. The rest of them were kind of thrown together, but they worked. Added the nice dynamic with Eddie Kingston and the Combat Club thing, being Chris Jericho's surprise partner. I honestly didn't know who to give to Jericho and Hager. I kind of booked myself into a corner, and then I was like, hold on a second, Eddie Kingston's right there. So something's going to have to continue here. I think Jericho's going to have to take a backseat for a while. The same with Paige VanZant. How does she recover from this loss? Her first big loss in AEW. Punk and Jay White, strong as ever. And the debut of Punk's wife, AJ Mendez, will be at Dynamite next week, and that match is booked in. It's written in pen. It's written in Sharpie. That ain't coming off. It's Hikaru Shida defending her world championship against AJ Mendez. Awesome. This isn't the end of this episode because we still have Collision to go through, but my God, we can't get any better than this, can we? I mean, no. I'll see you guys over at Collision, where hopefully some cool things happen. So, as if this episode wasn't going to be long enough as it is, I decided to randomly perform a drugs test, and these are all the incidents. Let's go through them one by one and make a decision on what to do. Oh, I shouldn't have done this. Okay, has been identified as a steroid user. Really, Andrade? There's no potential for damage to company prestige. Okay, that's fine. As his employee now to choose how to deal with the situation. Has an agitator personality, but he's extremely happy. I'm not going to suspend or fire him, obviously. Steroids are obviously bad, but it's not the end of the world. It's not going to affect our company prestige. So I think stern warning. Negative impact. Oh, great. AR Fox, what have you done, my boy? Soft drug user. Oh, he just likes a bit of the weed. Oh, slap on wrist. Big Bill, what's he doing? Steroid user. Oh, Bill, is that why you're so big? Oh, he's gloomy. Oh, I mean, that's probably the drugs, mate. What did we do? Stern warning. Okay, nothing's happened. Cool. Billy Gunn. I'm gonna say steroids. Steroid. Yep. Stern warning. Positive impact. Go on, Bill. Brian Cage. Oh, I wonder what Brian Cage has been taking. Steroids. Should we just get rid of Brian Cage? Should we just fire him? No. Stern warning. Nothing's happened. Cool. Jake Hager. Soft drug user. Okay. That's a slap on the wrist. Trent Beretta's annoyed at my decision. Claudio's happy though. Ron's happy. Okay. Why is Trent annoyed? Soft drug user. Okay, slap on the wrist. Casey, you've been smoking too, my girl. Slap on the wrist. Chelsea Green's happy. Cool. Oh yeah, Chelsea Green signs for us, by the way, guys. Luchasaurus, steroid user. Stern warning. Small positive impact. Hey, Matt Sydal. Steroids, Matt. What are you using steroids for? Stern warning, naughty boy. And then Pac, the guy that's potentially gonna defeat Adam Page. Let me guess, steroids. Yeah, steroid user. That's just stern warning. Positive impact. Hey, go on, Pac. There we go. Well, that's our drug testing for the foreseeable future. I might do it. I'll do it every 2 months, maybe. A little drug test. Because if anything's like really bad, like a hard drug user, like if like Jeff Hardy's in developmental right now, but what I'm saying is, Jeff Hardy. Yeah. Anyways, sorry, little sidetrack. I was playing around before booking Collision, but let's get straight into Collision. All right, see you guys there. And we are here for Collision. This is probably a very lengthy episode. But we're here. We're on the final hurdle now. We've done Dynamite. We've done Battle of the Belts, which was one hell of a show. We've done our drug testing. And now it's Collision. And then I'm going to take a very long break after this and have a nice glass of something. But first, we've got to get through Collision. So here is our pre-show. We begin with Yuka Sakazaki and Ashley Blackheart, where Ashley Blackheart picks up a win in 9 minutes with the Fright Night. Yuka with a 61, always doing well, and Ashley with a 40. 54 overall, it's fine. Let's move on. Heading into our final pre-show match, we've got tag team action, a team we haven't seen for a little while. It's Buddy and Brooks. Good old Buddy Matthews and his protege Adam Brooks, freshly kicked out of House of Black. Buddy Matthews is, and I'm sure he's not happy about that. They defeat Ortiz and Santana in 12:49 when Buddy Matthews pins Ortiz with the Murphy's Law. 60 rated match, not bad. Adam Brooks with a 36, so he's got a long way to go before he's going to be on the main card. If anything, I've only kind of brought him up because he is Buddy's protege, but I think I might just send him down to Ring of Honor just to get some, matches in and stuff like that. But anyways, that is the pre-show done. Let's head straight to Collision, the main show, and just see the fallout from Battle of the Belts. And we open with that bastard Pac, where he says that the Hangman, Adam Page, will get hung when he gets his hands on him again. Hangman Page comes out and says, "You need to chill out, bro. Yeah, you came out and attacked me after one of the toughest matches I've been in this year, but that doesn't mean that you're entitled to a title shot in any way." To which Nigel McGuinness comes out and says, "Adam Page is right. You can't just walk in and earn a match. So that means you're gonna have to make sure that you earn this title opportunity. So that means next week there will be a number one contenders match, including you, Pac, and a couple other people I haven't decided on yet. So it will be a surprise main event for next week. Pac will face someone, and maybe someone else, and maybe someone else, in a match to decide who will face Hangman Page at Full Gear, which I think is our next show. 83 segment, not bad. Let's keep moving on with the show. And we've got some tag team action, and Shinsuke Nakamura is teaming up with his new faction members, Roosh. So in a decent match, Shinsuke Nakamura and Roosh defeat the Dark Order of Evil Uno and Stu Grayson in 11 minutes with the Bomaye. 64 rated match, not the best. Shinsuke still doing fucking piss poor. I don't know why he's doing so bad. Roosh with a 70 though. Well, hey, Stu Grayson outperforming Shinsuke. Who'd have thought that would happen? But yeah, hopefully as the weeks progress, he gets better. Otherwise, I've wasted money. But following this though, we've got a little backstage segment where Taz is hyping up his son Hook, saying that the light heavyweight championship is Hook's. It's his to lose because he should be the favorite by a mile, the most talented young individual in the company, if not the world. So yeah, quite a lot of hype from good old Daddy Taz here. So let's hope that Hook can live up to it. Following this is some singles action in the women's division. Chris Statlander defeats Willow Nightingale in 9 minutes with the Big Bang Theory. Chris with a 54 and Willow with a 48. Not bad, not great. Remember when Chris Statlander was our champion? Yeah, that feels like years ago now, doesn't it? 57 overall, it's fine. You know, it's the women's division, not to sound like a twat or anything, but yeah, it's very hit and miss, and most of the time it is miss, unfortunately. But we are working on building the division, and obviously AJ Mendez's arrival at Battle of the Belts is one of our big steps that we're taking towards improving the quality of women's wrestling. After this though, Renee Paquette has an announcement. And I don't know why they chose her to announce it, but she is announcing that her husband, Jon Moxley, and Eddie Kingston have both been suspended because of their actions at Battle of the Belts. Apparently, a couple of people in the crowd got injured from their brawling and got hurt, and we don't condone those kinds of actions. So Moxley and Kingston have been suspended for now, and further action, I assume, will be taken down the line. So the Combat Club are leaderless at the moment, which isn't ideal because Wheeler Yuta has his tournament match later on this evening, so he might not be getting that extra hand that he got in the last match. But that is later on in the show. Next up is our first quarterfinal of the Collision bracket. It is Hook against Lee Moriarty. Fuck me. Hold on. Hook got a 78 performance. Okay, so in a bout that had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd, Hook defeats Lee Moriarty in 20 minutes with a red rum. This was part of the championship match, as we know, and Hook is our first Collision semi-finalist with a 78 performance. Maybe the trick is to just put him in 20-minute matches, because before now he's only really been in like, what, 10, 15 minutes? But yeah, Hook comes out of nowhere with his best performance to date. Maybe he just needs Daddy Taz to hype him up all the time. But 79 overall. Lee Moriarty with a 64, which is quite good for him as well. Yeah, Hook is through. Maybe Taz was right. And his opponent in that semi-final will be decided later on tonight when Wheeler Yuta takes on Bandido. We go backstage now, and Don Callis is with Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi, and they just kind of hype up their main event against House of Black. They're looking forward to this match for, one or two reasons. Either to become number one contenders to the Lucha Brothers, and two, just to beat up House of Black, because they've got involved one too many times, according to Kenny Omega. 67, Kenny and Don, they're great on the mic. I don't know why their stats are suffering, but they are. Heading back to the ring now, and it's the other quarterfinal match, Wheeler Yuta, Bandido. Let's see how it goes down. 73. Cool, I'll take that. So in a good match, Bandido gets the win against Wheeler Yuta in 18 minutes with the Revolution Fly. Wheeler Yuta getting no support from the Combat Club, so it does seem like a lot of these attacks are Jon Moxley led. No Moxley means no Combat Club from the sounds of it. And Bandido gets the win. Good for Bandido. He's through to the semi-finals, and he will be facing Hook in a semi-final for the Collision side of the tournament bracket. So our first semi-finalists of Collision are confirmed. Bandido with a 74, which is nice. Wheeler with a 66, and the match got the crowd buzzing. What are the stats saying down here? Penalised for lack of psychology and penalised for stamina. Bandido's got, and Yuta have got poor stamina. Well, get on the treadmill, boys, because you've got many more matches coming up. This doesn't take us to the main event. We've got one more segment, and it's just Britt Baker and Hikaru Shida reflecting on the debut, the arrival of AJ Mendez. Essentially saying they're not afraid of her. She's puny. She's not strong. She's not a threat. She hasn't wrestled for years. She's come out of retirement for some reason. Maybe, just to keep her husband company in AEW. But she's not getting a sniff at the world title because Shida is going to beat her in under 5 minutes, apparently. AJ Mendez obviously will have other things to say about that. But it will be AJ Mendez facing the champion Hikaru Shida next week on Dynamite in AJ's debut match for the women's world title. So anything can happen when it comes to AEW. But Shida and Baker seem very, very confident. It's important to keep in mind, though, that seeing as though Britt Baker is on the Collision brand and not a world champion, she will not be able to be ringside for that Dynamite match because she is, stuck in Collision. And now it's main event time. It is the Golden Lovers, Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi against Malachi Black and Brody King of House of Black. Let's see how that goes down. 79. Ooh, I'll take it. So in a bout that had great wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd, the Golden Lovers get the win. They defeat House of Black in 22 minutes when Kenny Omega wins with a golden trigger. During the match, though, Buddy Matthews ran in and attacked Malachi Black. Kenny Omega carried the match in terms of performance, and Buddy Matthews getting a little bit of revenge on Malachi Black after, costing him his tournament match and kicking him out of House of Black. So, revenge is sweet. And I think for the first time in this series, Malachi Black has got a rating over 70. So, praise the Lord, praise the House of Black. Brody with a 64, Kenny with an 88, and Kota with a 70. Kota's getting there slowly but surely. So that means that Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi are our number one contenders for the World Tag Team Championship against the Lucha Brothers. When that match is, who knows? It might drag on until Full Gear. It might not. We'll have to wait and see. But 79 rated. That ends our show. Let's see how we did. 78. Cool. Not bad. Not great. But it's fine. We don't lose popularity. That's all that matters. But yeah, so what we learned from this, it seems like Pac has very much got his eyes laser focused on the world title, and specifically Hangman Page 2. But Nigel McGuinness has thrown in a massive number one contenders match. Who's included in that match? I do not know. Like, literally, I do not know. I'll figure that out. Hook with his best match to date by a country mile, really pulling it out of the bag and proving that he should be in this tournament. And booking his place in the semi-final. Moxley and Kingston suspended, and then we've got that big women's world title match in the next episode. Hikaru Shida defending against AJ Mendez. That is it for this episode, though. So much has happened. This is a long one. I don't know how long it is, but it's a long one. Thank you for sticking in to the end. I appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe, do it all, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.